What's up, everybody? First, I want to say that my adapter to mount my phone to the tripod broke. And so I'm actually going to be using a little homemade Lego phone mount stand that my son made me. So I'm going to give you a quick show of what that looks like. So here it is. This is kind of like the stand. I have it kind of mounted up a little bit, but it actually comes out and it can be held kind of like a little selfie stick. So this is about as good as it's gonna get for this one. All right, so in today's video, I'm gonna do an oil change and an air filter change on my 2018 Nissan Rogue. It's the SV. I believe it's a 2.5 liter. I'd have to double check though. But what I'm using some 020, which is what it calls for. I've got this is the oil filter, as well as the crush washer. I don't know if you can see that. And then I actually picked up just a cheap air filter kind of while I'm in there, because I actually haven't changed it since I bought the car, and that was maybe 2 years ago or more. So those are the parts. I'm gonna change my setup and we'll get to it. All right, so the drain bolt is a 14 millimeter. So let me get it started here. So luckily, I put like a lift leveling kit on the car. So that gives me like another 2 inches up front that so I can get under the car without actually having to raise it at all. But I am going to jack up one side for the oil filter, and I'll show you that next while this is draining. Alright, so while that's finishing up draining, I'm going to raise the car on this side and pop the wheel off. You don't need to pop the wheel off, I just think it makes it easier on me. All right, so the oil filter lives behind this shroud here. So like I said, you can just pull this up and undo it by hand. I'm just anal like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off these, maybe one or two of these plastic clips to give me better access to that. And that way I can let it drain. I can drain out the oil filter and then replace it. So what I do next is I actually pre-fill the oil filter. I pre-soak the oil filter in oil. Actually, came with a little protective cover that just popped off, but I pour in just enough to kind of fill it once. Whoa, maybe a little too much. And then I let it kind of soak, and so that'll wet the filter, and then once it's wet, then I'll install it on the car. So I don't know if you can see that. I probably poured a little too much on that. Kind of came out fast. But we'll give it some time and it'll soak into the filter. Alright, so I did it a little too much. I'm gonna pour a little of this back in the can But first I'm going to use my finger here and just kind of lube the O-ring up so that it's got some oil on it. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of the extra because this filter goes on its side, and so if I try to put it on its side, it's going to leak all over the place. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of clean off the mating surface here just to make sure it's nice and clean, that there isn't any gaskets left over or anything like that. Then I'm going to install the filter. Then I'm going to clean up the area. And then I can put this cover back here. And then I'm going to install my clips. Alright, so before I install the clips, I just kind of work them a little bit. You can see that we're in the middle of winter here, and there's salt all over the roads, and so there's just grime everywhere. But I kind of make sure that they're in working condition, and then they just reinstall. And then while I'm in here, I'm going to take a quick peek to make sure I don't have any torn boots or anything like that. And then next thing I'm going to do is replace the oil drain plug gasket. Alright, so the drain plug gasket is a little copper crush washer. So it's not like a gasket, I guess, but it's a washer. And usually I try and get at it. Sometimes it doesn't come up nicely. I just kind of get at it with like a razor blade to try and just lift it a little bit. And then once it's loosened, then you can try and unscrew it out of place. So then it just comes off. Clean it out, nice and clean. And then I put a new washer on. Washer goes flat side down. And you should be able to kind of push it or screw it into place. You want it bottomed out. Alright. So now I'm going to screw this back in, and then we'll fill it back up with oil. Alright, so I'm going to give this one last wipe off. So the purpose is that crush washer will actually squeeze down and then flatten to seal in any defects maybe around the edge of the drain plug. So now I'm going to put the tire back on and then fill it back up. Alright, so I have never replaced the air filter on this car before. The first thing I'm going to do is, this red wire is for the tow hitch that I added. So I'm going to actually just kind of clip this little zip tie so I can get it out of the way, and I'll put a new one on when I'm done. So that I'll just move this out of the way so it's not going to be an issue. And then there are clips. So there are clips on the side of the box here. I'm going to pop these clips off. I'm going to try and get a better shot for them. This is the clip here. It pops on the side of the box, just like that. There's one there. There's one on this side. There might be some down below, but we're going to take a look. See. So then there's let me show you that. So then this there's a little clip here. I just pulled it out, so it's not in anymore, but that's on like that. If you lift it up and out, then this piece here slides out of the way. Oh, I see. You squeeze these, and this piece comes up out of the way, and then now you can see the air filter is accessible. And you can see how filthy it is, so I'm actually kind of glad that I'm replacing it. It's pretty bad. And then while I'm in here, I'm just going to kind of clean the leaves out of the box. Alright, so it looks pretty good. Alright, so if I compare these side by side, you can see that at the top there is like a key here that is offset. There isn't one on this side. And then at the bottom, you can see that there's no keys, but this is obviously the bottom, this is the top, and I'm gonna put this to the left. Obviously, it really only goes one way, but just something to pay attention to when you are changing it out. All right, so to install it, I'm gonna take this guy, I'm gonna slide it into place. I wanna make sure it's snug, and then I'm gonna kind of give this a push back. My clip's out of the way, and it should fit in nice and easy. And then I'm gonna pop this clip in. Pop this clip in. And then just double check everything, sure everything's secure. Then this piece here is gonna slide down into place. All right, so what I realized after going through some of the footage was that the camera didn't catch any of the work that I was doing over here when I was trying to reassemble this setup. And so I just wanted to show you what it looks like. When I took off this pipe here, you can see that there's like a groove molded into the plastic. And that groove fits on this, there's an edge here that goes underneath. There's kind of like an L here. And it fits tight in there, and that kind of helps the seal be more airtight. But what happened was that when I was trying to install it, I had trouble getting the groove to basically fit in nicely with the setup. And so ultimately what I did was the rest of this air line here is here, and it's only connected via one 10mm bolt here and then two plastic clips here. And so what I did was I'm just gonna pop off these clips, and this is probably what I should have done in the first place, but you don't have to. You could probably work it in over time. But this is just kind of, for me, I feel that it's better because I can ensure that the fitment is right. So with that disconnected, this whole piece comes out easy. So the problem really is just trying to get the bottom and the side to line up. That's the trick. All right. So I just realized what the trick is here. So the groove is actually along the side here, as well as this side as well. And so this side is easy to line up, but when you're lining that up, there's a little foot here that actually is to help you connect it to there. And once you have both of the top slide on, it actually slides right down. There you go. So then that pops in there. So I'm going to try it again now that I know what the trick is, and we'll see if I can do it without having to take this pipe off. So this comes off, that guy comes up, and so then to put it back in, I think it's easier for me to see it in this angle here. That there. Pops in, these guys pop in, and you're good to go. So that's going to be the better way to do it ultimately in the end. And then I'm going to put this cable back. All right, and so then the last thing I'm going to do again while I'm in here is I'm just going to top off the windshield washer fluid because it is winter. And as you can see, there's tons of salt everywhere. Okay, so that about wraps it up for an oil change and an air filter change on my 2018 Nissan Rogue. I hope you enjoy the content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. There's much more to come. Thank you very much.